Okay, so we will record from question 12 onwards. This is terrible. Okay, question 12. Now, the price of a teddy bear was $30. Joey bought one such teddy bear and had to pay 7% GST on the price. So how much did she pay for the teddy bear? Now, before you can add the GST, what is the lesson? You must always start with 100%, which is your base. Okay, your base. Okay, when you have a percentage problem, you always start with 100% first before you can plus or minus. So the price of a teddy bear was $30. Joey bought one teddy bear and had to pay 7% on the price. So which means that your 100% is 30 before the GST, right? Before you add the GST. So how much after the GST? That will be 107, right? 100 plus 7 will be 107. So can you find 1% first? How much is 1%? So what do? You can write 30 over 100. Okay, avoid decimal. Okay, avoid decimal so that you can do faster. Okay, what is 30 over 100? Means 30 divided by 100. Can also be written as a fraction. And how much is the GST? That will be 30 over 100 times 7. Okay, so you can see that I avoid decimal so that we can do faster. All right, then how? Then you just cancel, divide by 10, divide by 10. And then what you get? Cannot cancel already, then you multiply. 3 times 7 will be 21. And then 10 times 1 is 10. So what is 21 divided by 10? 21 divided by 10 is how much? Then you may want to do some dividing. Okay, this one you can do dividing, or you can shift the decimal point. 21.0, shift the decimal point to the left, right? There are a few ways to divide. So shift to the left, you get 2.1. So how much is the GST? 2.1 or $2.10. That is the GST. Okay, then what do? Then you add the GST, right? How much did she pay for the teddy bear? You take the $30 plus the GST, and that will give you how much she paid, which is $32.10 after GST. Answer number 3. Okay, all these are without calculator. So when we don't have calculator, we try to work smart. Okay, we try to avoid decimal so that we don't have a lot of working. All right, so one of the ways to avoid decimal is what? One of the ways is to write as a fraction, all right? And then later you multiply so that you can cancel. Then you can do faster. Okay, question 13. Tara had 5 over 6 meter. Okay, she cut the greatest number of pieces of 1 over 8 meter each. So what was the length of the leftover string? All right, this one you have to be very careful. All right, most of you must have divided, which is correct. You take the whole string and you divide by 1 piece is 1 over 8 meter to get how many pieces? All right, let's divide. So you take 5 over 6, keep the first fraction, change the divide to times, and flip upside down. Okay, all right, then you cancel, divide by 2, and then divide by 2, right? And then you multiply because you cannot cancel anymore, so you multiply. So 5 times 4 is 20, and then 3 times 1 is 3, and then you change it to a mixed number. So what is 20 divided by 3? So 20 over 3 is 6 times 3, 18, and your mixed number is 6 and 2/3. All right, what do you mean by 6 and 2/3? It means that you can cut into 6 strings, right? You can cut into 6 strings, and anyone choose number 2 as your answer. And that is wrong. Okay, the leftover string is not 2/3. So what is the leftover string? Now, to find the leftover string, you just take 2/3, okay, 2/3, and multiply by how long is 1 piece. How long is 1 piece? This is how you find the leftover. So you may want to remember this, okay? The answer is not 2/3. So you take 2/3 times how long is 1 piece, and you will get cancel, divide by 2, and then divide by 2, and 1 times 1 is 1, and then 3 times 4 will be 12. So the leftover is actually 1 over 12 meter. I think most of you must have made a mistake here, right? I'm quite sure. Many of you make a mistake, right? Who did not make a mistake for this one? Anybody? Raise your hand if you get correct. Okay, well done. If you get it correct, means you avoided this trap. Okay, there's something tricky about this question. Okay, so copy down. All right, so next, I'm sure this will come in the exam. All right, it's a very common question. So just remember, how do you get the leftover? you just take 2/3, okay, take the 2/3 and you multiply by how long is one piece to get the leftover. Yeah, got it? Okay, question 14. All right, question 14, and okay, circles. So we will go through circles. The figure is formed using a semicircle and a quarter circle of radius 8 cm. Find the parameter of the figure. Leave your answer in terms of pi, which means that you don't have 22/7, neither do you have 3.14. You just have to use the pi. All right, just put the pi into your answer. So what do you mean? Okay, first of all, can we find the parameter of the figure? You will need to find the circumference of the 3/4 circle. Okay, my groups, I think my groups, you have learned this already. So how do you find the circumference of the 3/4 circle? Put the 3/4 in front. Okay, must put the 3/4 in front and write the formula. What formula? Is it pi d or is it pi r square? So which is the right formula? This one. Okay, so you times pi d. Okay, so put into your formula, what is your pi, which is the same. See, your answer must be in terms of pi. So just write down the same pi. All right, write down the symbol. And what's the diameter? Diameter is what you see over here is the radius of a quadrant. So to get the diameter, you just have to do what? Times 2. Because what is a diameter? A diameter cuts the circle into half. So if you see a quadrant in the diagram, right? A quadrant that looks like okay, let me just show you. Okay, hang on for a while. Let me erase. Okay, if you see a quadrant, what is a quadrant? A quadrant is what you see on the board. Okay, this is a quadrant, a quarter circle. So what do you call this? What do you call this side? This side is called radius. What do you call this side also? Same, radius. All right, and when you join them together with two quadrants, it becomes a semicircle, right? So these two radius joined together become a semicircle. And what do you call these two? Diameter. Okay, diameter. So you just take the radius times 2. So you take 8 cm times 2 becomes 16. Okay, all right. So let me just erase this part so that we don't get confused because you are finding the circumference of the 3/4 circle. So cancel and divide by 4. Okay, no calculator again. So what do? 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times pi will be 12 pi. Okay, understand? All right, so you still cancel, and then 3 times 4 is 12, then 12 times pi is 12 pi. So the circumference of the 3/4 circle is 12 pi. But what is parameter? You need to add the straight lines. So 12 pi plus 8 plus 8, which is 16. So what's the parameter of this figure? 12 pi plus 16 centimeter. Okay, understand? Okay, all right, copy down. Right. Okay, there's a black screen now. Somebody is not turning on the video. Okay, never mind. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Question 15. Okay. Question 15. Okay, now this is okay, this is quite interesting. Now, based on what is shown in the square grid, which of the following statements are true? ZY is parallel to HG. Look at ZY. Do you think these two lines are parallel? Totally not parallel. They don't look parallel. So statement A, wrong. Okay, I hope you understand why not parallel. Okay, now WZY is twice of EFG. This one you get confused. Okay, where is your WZY? Now your WZY is over here. WZY. So it's the angle twice of EFG. EFG. Is it twice? You're not sure, right? Okay, now I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something over here, just to draw a few more boxes, and then you can see more clearly. Okay, okay, something like that. Okay, just draw a few more boxes, and then I'm going to what? I'm going to join. Okay. All right. Can you see? You have something like symmetric, and this angle, right? Then you look carefully. I want you to look at this drawing that I've done, and look at this drawing. Do you think the angles are the same? They are equal, right? They look identical, right? So they are equal. So what happens if you cut into half? So isn't that twice? This is twice of this angle Isn't that twice? Yeah. Yeah, so you may have to do some drawing lah or some. Okay, this is how you show. Okay, the next one, so I'm going to erase. So statement B is correct. Okay, statement C, how do you find area? Now, there is a reason for the square boxes. Okay, there's a reason. I'm going to erase all this. Okay, erase all this. So how do you find the area of the rhombus? Okay, now there is a reason. Okay, how to find the area of the rhombus? Now, if you look carefully, okay, the area of the rhombus W, X, Y, Z. Look at this. Look at this rhombus. How many squares make up this rhombus? Do you know how to find how many squares? How many squares make up this rhombus? You just, how do you do? You can just cut it, right? Cut it, all right? And cut it. How many squares make up this rhombus? All right. Now, you can see that there are 4 triangles inside, all right? 4 triangles. So if I take this triangle and put over here, I take this triangle and put over here. So the 4 triangles will form a rectangle. Okay, the 4 triangles, the 2 triangles on top will join to form a rectangle below, which is how many squares? Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the area of the rhombus is 12 squares. 12 squares. Okay, then you look at the trapezium. Okay, this line is drawn by the student, so don't care about this line. So look at this trapezium. Is it also the same? What do you think? You cut it, cuts, and this triangle, what do? You take out and join over here. Can you see? So now I have what? I have over here a rectangle already. Do you follow what I'm doing? Okay, so how many squares make up the trapezium? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. Same, equal. So these 2 shapes are equal in area. So statement C is correct. So your answer is B and C, answer number 4. Okay, so there's a reason for the square boxes. How do you find area? You have to count how many squares make up the shape. All right, that's how you find the area. Okay. Yep. Okay. Any questions so far? Easy to understand, right? Okay. All right. Let's go to question 16. Okay, question 16, and you're back to your simple questions. Okay. All right. Write 1,000,012. Okay. Now this is quite easy, but you got to watch out for the big number. It's because it's a very big number. There are many digits. So you may want to write one by one, right? Write one by one into numerals if you are not so sure, and then you just plus them together. So your numeral is 1,000,012. Okay, if you are not so sure, then you change the words one by one into numerals and you plus them. Okay, list all the common factors. This one, no shortcut. All right, you have to write down 1 times 27, 2 cannot, 3 times 9, 27, 4 cannot, 5 cannot, 6, 7, 8 cannot, 9 have already. No need to write 9 times 3 because it's the same as 3 times 9. Okay, how about 45? So 1 times 45 is 45, 2 cannot. Okay, by the way, how do you know whether 2 cannot? You take 45 divided by 2, that's a remainder, so cannot. Right? 3. Can 45 divide by 3? Yes. So you divide, there's no remainder. 4 cannot. 5 times 9 can. 6 cannot, 7 cannot, 8 cannot, 9 have already. So circle the common factors. So your common factors will be 1, 3, and then what else? 9. Okay, and I think that's it. No more already, right? So your common factors 1, 3, and 9. Okay, quite easy. This is a primary 4 question. Okay, question number 18. Also not very hard. Make sure you score in this question. Do step by step. So what is your first step? Do the bracket. So write down everything. 39 minus 36, then divide by 9. Okay, after you add the 2 numbers in the bracket, put the answer there, plus 3. So your statement will get shorter and shorter as you do step by step. So you have minus, divide, and plus. So do the divide first. So 39 minus 4, and then plus 3. Okay, and then you have minus and plus. What you do first? You do left to right. So when you have minus and plus, equally important. So you do left to right. So you have 35 plus 3, and your answer will be 38. Okay, no mistake. Okay, let's quickly go to question 19. Right, question 19. Okay, now algebra, n is equal to 6. That's also not hard. 8 times n. What is 8n? 8n means 8 times n, or 8 times 6. Then you divide by 3 and minus 6. So again, put everything together in one step. Okay, so that you don't get confused. Put everything together in one step, and 8 times 6 is 48 over 3 minus 6. So you do step by step. What is 48 over 3? 48 divided by 3, right? 16. And 16 minus 6, and your answer will be 10. So again, same, step by step. Don't break up the steps. Some of you, I think some of you do this, right? 8 times 6, 48. And then what? And then 48, you are breaking up the steps, and this is dangerous because you may forget to do some steps if you break up the steps. So put everything together in one step. Okay, question 20. This one, some of you are confused. How do you change into a fraction? How do you change percentage into a fraction? 1%, what is the fraction? Just 1 out of 100. Okay, every time you want to convert percent to fraction, just out of 100. So if 0.9%, also the same, out of 100. Same. And what is 0.9 over 100? It means that 0.9 divided by 100, because fraction is what? Fraction is dividing. Okay, oh, by the way, you want fraction, right? You want to write as a fraction, right? So if you want to write as a fraction, then what happened? Well, I don't need to change into decimal because the question wants me to write as a fraction. Okay, so then how do we write as a fraction? Okay, very simple. Okay, now you just have to times 10 to get rid of the decimal point. Yeah. Okay, times 10. All right. And what is 0.9 times 10? Then you shift the decimal point to the right one time only, and you get 9.0 or 9. Okay, 9. 100 times 10 is 1,000. That's it. All right. Okay. So how do you change your percentage into fraction? Just over 100. Okay, over 100. And that's how you change it to fraction. But if there is a decimal on top, then how do you get rid? Just times 10 to remove the decimal point. And don't forget to times 10 below. All right, below also must times 10. And then you will get your normal fraction already. Because your fraction cannot have a decimal, right? Cannot be 0.9 over 100. It's a funny fraction. Okay, let's go to question 21. Are you clear so far? Okay, clear so far? Lessons is clear to understand, right? Okay, then let's go to question 21. Okay, now this one, concept. Okay, your concept, no methods yet. We haven't done any, we haven't really done methods. Question 21 is a concept percentage. The visitors to an amusement park was 4,200 in June. This, what is this? It means the June, okay? This was a 20% increase from the visitors in May. So again, before you can plus 20%, before you can increase by 20%, you must always start with 100%. So where is 100%? May. May is 100%. Before you can plus 20%, you always must start from the base. What is your base? Your base is 100%, which is May, right? May, right? And then June will be how many percent? June must be 120%, right? June, because you add 20% more, that will be June, and that is 4,200. Okay, so no calculator. So how do we find 100% is how many? Then you may want to shortcut. Okay, jump. Okay, how to jump? Okay, so you jump. So you divide by what? Divide by 6. Divide by 6, and you get 20. All right, and then later times 5 to get 100. Jumping. Can you see that? So 120 divided by 6, you get 20. Then 20 times 5, you get 100. So on the other side, you do the same. Divide by 6 and cancel, cover the 2 zeros. You get 42 divided by 6, and then put back the 2 zeros. And then later, you times 5. So 7 times 5 is 35, and put back the 2 zeros. And how many visitors were there in May? 3,500. 3,500. Are you clear? Shortcut, jumping method. So you don't have to find 1%. Okay. Okay, so what's the lesson here? Before you can add 20% or before you can increase or decrease, right? You always must start with 100% first in percentage problem, right? Same thing. Before you have a discount, before you have any interest or GST, you also must always start with 100% first. Okay. Okay, question 22. Next one. Okay, method. Now we can talk about methods already. Okay, now there's a fraction, there's a ratio. So how? Okay, a bag contains balls of 3 different colors. 1/3 of the balls are green. The ratio of the blue to the red is 4:5. What is the ratio of the green to the blue? Okay, you can draw a model, but it will take more time, or you can use ratio method because there's a ratio inside the problem. So how do you use ratio method? Can you convert the fraction to ratio? You must know how to convert the fraction to ratio. All right, it's important. All right, so you need to know how to convert. So how do you do that? Green. All right, green is to blue is to red. Okay, you must have complete labels. In your ratio, you must have complete label. What do you mean by complete labels? All the colors must be in your label. All right, you cannot do this. If anyone do this, green is to total. This is a bad label. This is a bad label. Why is it a bad label? Because where's the blue color? Where is the red color in this ratio? Don't have. So this is a bad label and you will get stuck. So you need to label all the colors in your ratio. So the green is 1 and the total, right? The total balls is 3. And the blue and the red must be 2. Okay? And the ratio of the blue to the red is 4:5. And you can add them together, put the total there, that is 9. Okay? And once you have these two ratios already, you can compare already. And how do you compare? You can see the blue and the red and the total blue and the red, right? Same color, but different numbers. So can you make them equal? Okay, make them equal. So you times 9 for this ratio, and then you times 2, and you times 2. Okay, so what do you get? So you have 9 is to 18 is to 27. 8 is to 10 is to 18. So once you make the blue and the red the same, you can call them units. All right, understand? And then you can use that to write your answer. So what's the ratio of the green to the blue? Green over here. And the blue is where? The blue is over here. So your answer will be 9 is to 8. Ratio method. Okay, I can also draw a model, but model will take a bit longer time. Ratio is faster. Are you clear? Okay. All right, who is Jordan? Can you on your video? And Chu Puppy. Who is Chu Puppy? All right, your video is turned off, Chu Puppy. Okay, let's look at the next one. Question 23. Okay, we are coming. Okay, question 23. Okay, this is not hard. You need to score in this question. How do you draw the front view? Now, the front view, you count 1, 2. 2 squares, 1 and 1. So there's a pattern, 2, 1, 1. So how do you draw? 2, 1, 1. Okay? So this is how I call it 2, 1, 1. When you draw, it's 2, 1, 1. How about the top view? Now, for the top view, you must always stand in front. Okay, stand in front, and then you look down. So if you stand in front and you look down, you will see 2, 2, 1. Okay, 2, 2, 1. So when you draw your top view, 2, 2, 1. Something like that. Okay, 2, 2, 1. Got it? So that is your top view. All right. Okay, let me try. Okay, let me just do nicely. 2, 2, and 1. All right. Not hard, huh? This is not that hard to get your drawing correct. Okay, so 2, 2, 1. Okay, but of course you don't need to, please don't write your numbers here. It's not just telling you how to draw the squares, but in your answer sheet, don't put down the numbers there. Okay, question 24. Okay, now a machine prints 350 pieces of paper in 21 minutes. At this rate, how many or how long does the machine take to print 150 pieces of paper? Okay, so so for your case especially, now I hope you have done this. Okay, you need to show the arrow. Anyone who never show the arrow, you will find yourself confused, don't know how to continue. 21 minutes is 350 pieces. If I have 150 pieces, that will be how many minutes? Method, jumping. Okay, jumping method. So how? All right, don't go and find 1 minute. You don't have a calculator, right? And it's going to be very hard to divide. So there's no calculator. So don't find 1 minute. All right. Okay, what do? Jump. Can you divide by what? Divide by 7. You get 50. And then later you times 3. So the other side, divide by 7 and you get 3 minutes. And then later you times 3 to get 9. So how long does the machine take to print 150 pieces? 9. Jumping method. So if you still make mistake and you don't have the arrow sign, you didn't learn the lesson, right? I'm sure your teacher has drawn the arrow sign also, right? Draw the arrow sign and okay, got it? Okay, let's go to question 25. All right, question 25. Okay, now this one, you may want to use color pencils or highlighters. So there's a rectangle and there's a square and find QMK. So put the question mark, where is your QMK over here? Okay, all right, can be very confusing if you don't highlight, okay, don't highlight. Can you see there's a square, right angle? Okay, right angle, okay? And when you cut the square into half, you cut the right angle into half. So this is 45. And what do you think is the angle here? That must be 45 minus 18. That will be 27. So you will need to do highlighting. Then you can see clearly. If you don't highlight, you can't see. Okay. And then how? Then how do we find that? How do we find the question mark there? Okay. Can you see what? If you look carefully, there is a right angle. Okay, the rectangle also got right angle. Let me use a different color. Okay, hang on for a while, a different color. The rectangle, what happened? Give me a while first, huh? Okay. Okay, so the rectangle also has right angle. Can see already, huh? The rectangle also has right angle. That will be 90, right? 90 degrees, huh? Okay, can you see that rectangle has, what do you have? 2 lines parallel. So you have a Z. Okay, a Z. Okay, so I'm going to show you the Z, 2 lines parallel. So rectangle has 2 lines parallel, 26, 26. So can you find the question mark already? Right angle in the rectangle, minus 27 minus 26. And you get the question mark. So 90 minus 27 minus 26, 37. So your question mark is 37 degrees. All right, clear? Maybe you have a faster way, maybe. Also can, also correct. If you have a faster way, it's fine. But what's the lesson here? The lesson here is you may want to use colors to highlight the right angles. All right, then you can see more clearly. Okay, somebody gave me some chat messages. Yeah, okay. All right, let's continue. Okay, now, question number 26. Method, your line method. Line method. Okay, so did you draw a line? But this is a simple problem, but we can still draw a line. So Mrs. Hua paid $290 for renting a car. So you have a big arrow, which is $290. And you must cut. You always have to cut what? You always have to cut the first 3 hours. Okay? Cut away, always cut this, cut away the first whatever. And that will be $90 and 3 hours. And what's the balance? What's the leftover? Which is your $200. Okay, $200 left. And that will be how many groups? How many groups of how many hours? How many groups of 40? So 200 and you divide by 40. Okay, you can divide, all right? $200 divided by 40 to give you how many? 5. All right, 5 groups. So you can start cutting. So you have 40, 40, 40, and something like that. Okay, so there are how many? 5 groups, right? So every group is how much? Every group is 40, 40, 40. All right, so if you don't know how to do, then you cut like this because there are not many parts to cut. So you can do You can do this one by one, cut one part at a time if you are not very sure. And how much is $40 or how long is $40? Then you put 1 hour. So all your working is inside the line. If you don't have the line method, then you're doing everything all very messy. Your working will be all very messy, but with a line, it's all clearly shown. So how long did she rent the car? So 3 plus 5 hours must be 8 hours, right? Am I correct? So there's a line method here, okay? Okay, question 27. Okay, question 27 coming to the end soon already. Okay, question 27, and okay, what? Oh, this one. Okay, is this a before and after? So Francis baked twice as many muffins as tarts. After giving away 67 muffins and 13 tarts, Francis had equal number of muffins and tarts left. How many tarts did Francis bake? So this is a before and after problem. Then what's your method? The model method or the table method? Do not use a table method if the model is easy to draw. This problem is actually very easy to draw. So we should try to draw the model. The table method is for very hard problems. When you cannot draw, then you use a table method. But for a question like this, you should always try to draw the model because it's actually easier and faster. So 3 times, right? And the tarts is 1 time, okay? Okay, let me draw a bit nicely, not proportional. But you don't have to be perfect in your drawing. Just make sure that they are neat. Your drawing is neat and as proportional as possible. And after giving away 67 muffins and 13 tarts, Francis had equal number. There is something very important when you draw a model. If you see something equal to something, what must you have in your model? Dotted line. If you don't have a dotted line, you will not know how to continue to draw your model. So dotted line to show equal left, equal muffins and tarts left. So which means that this muffin must be given away, and this tarts, which is very tiny, okay, very tiny, will be also given away. And how many is that? 13, right? 13 tarts given away, right? And where are the units? The units are the boxes, okay, the units. Okay, that's your model. And how many tarts did Francis bake? So your question mark is to find here. And that's your model, a very simple model. So you should not use a table, right? Because if the model is easy to draw, don't use a table method. Okay, then you look carefully, compare. Model drawing is about comparing. Can you find how many units more? 2 units more. And that is equal to how many? Compare the whole numbers. 67 minus 13. And you will get how many? You will get 54. So your 2 unit is 54. So when you draw the model, you have to compare. Compare means to find how many more, how many less. Compare. So what is 1 unit? 1 unit will be 54 divided by 2, 27. So how many tarts did Francis bake? Which is 1 unit. 2 steps. Okay, 2 steps in your model. Okay, all right. Clear so far? All right. Okay, let's go to question 28. Now, question 28 is a speed problem, which you haven't learned yet, but we still go through. Okay, so you may learn this, I don't know, right, after your mid-year exam. Okay, before you can do speed problem, your teacher will tell you there is also a formula. There's a formula, like when you find circle, what's the area of circle? Pi r square. All right, there's a formula. So how do you find speed? There is also a formula. So your teacher will show you a house, okay, something like a triangle, and you will see some important letters. D for distance, okay, D for distance, S for speed, right, speed, T for time, okay. I won't be teaching you about speed, I'm just showing you the formula. So that is a triangle that your teacher will draw for you. Okay, Wen-Rui, you raise your hand. Yeah, Wen-Rui.
What?
Miss Tong can't hear you.
Huh?
Wen-Rui, yeah, what do you say? Okay, what is D?
Letter?
D is distance. Okay, D.
What is the letter?
Okay, D is distance. Okay, when you do speed problem, there are 3 things that you must know. Distance means how long you travel. T is time. Yeah, time. How long you take to travel. Time. And then there's a speed. Speed means what? Speed means how fast you travel. Okay, how fast you travel? Are you fast or are you slow? Okay, so and the words are represented by your DST. Okay, DST. All right, so these are the letters that we use. All right, now there is also a method for speed problem. All right, a big method. What is that method? It's called the speed distance timeline. All right, it's a big method, something like your model drawing. Okay, something like that, but but it's quite different. All right, look carefully. Eric started cycling at 25 km per hour from his house to the swimming complex. The swimming complex is 10 km away from his house. How long means time taken? How long did he take to reach the swimming complex? There is a method here. Okay. So what is the method? Speed distance timeline. That is the method. So you draw a line. Okay. This is your speed distance timeline. All right. And you have to label from the house to the swimming complex. And Eric started cycling from the house to the complex and show the arrow. Where is he moving? Right, left to right. Usually you always move from left to right. And there is one big part journey. There's one big journey here. And that is speed, distance, and time. Okay, don't worry about the method, right? When the time comes, we will teach the groups, okay, about this method, but right now we don't have to learn that yet. Okay, then you just have to put the numbers inside. Put the numbers like model drawing, put it into here, all right? Put your numbers inside here. So what do you put? Okay, now the speed is 25 km per hour, put inside. And the swimming complex is 10 km, which is the distance, put inside. And how long? That's the time. Okay, so how do you find the time? Then you look at the triangle. Time is equal to distance divided by speed. Okay, time is equal to distance, right? Can you see the distance divided by speed, right? Distance over speed. So what's the distance? 10 km divided by 25 km per hour. Okay, all right, now before you can divide, you need to check something. You need to check whether the units are the same. Okay, if they are not the same, you have to make them the same. Okay, but you're lucky because they are the same. Then what do? Just simplify. So simplify your fraction. 10 divided by 5 and 25 divided by 5. So what do you get? 2 over 5 hour. 2/5 hour. But your answer has to be minutes. All right, minutes. So what do? Make the denominator into a 60 because 1 hour is 60 minutes. So 5 times 12 and 2 times 12. So how many minutes? That will be 24 minutes taken to cycle. Okay, just to let you know that speed is the hardest topic of all. Okay, speed is the topic that is actually the most challenging. Okay, why is it the most challenging? Because it's very hard, but how to make it easy? The model. Okay, the model that you have to learn. And once you know the model, then it becomes easy to solve already. Okay, so speed is the most challenging chapter that you have to learn. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, next one. Okay, question 29. Okay, now this is, okay, this one, some of you couldn't do the part B, right? So measure and write down the value of SUT. Okay, now, okay, I need to take my protractor out. So you take your protractor and you want to measure the angle SUT. Where is SUT? Which is over here, right? SUT. So you take your protractor, put the center point of the protractor onto the corner. Something like this. Okay, something like this. All right, and make sure the baseline. What is the baseline? The protractor has a baseline. All right, I'm sure you know what's the baseline. I can't show you on the screen now, but the protractor has a baseline. Put the baseline of the protractor and let it sit onto the, okay, the center point of the protractor sits at the angle there. All right, at the angle there. And if the line is too short, then you draw a bit longer. Okay, draw a bit longer. And what angle do you think is that? Or which zero do you look at? Do you look at the zero on the left or right? You look at the zero on the right. Why? Because the line is on the right side. Okay, the line, the dark line, the black line that you see is on the right side. And you start counting, and I think the angle is 80, right? Because it's crossing 80, it touches 80. So is your answer 80? 80. Okay, then plus minus 1, right? It can be 79 or 81. Okay, 79 or 81. Okay, so that is your part A. Okay, for your part B, how do you draw a parallelogram that is twice the area of the triangle? Okay, those in my groups, Mr. has told you already, you should draw a rough sketch. Okay, a rough sketch. So how do you draw a rough sketch before you do the actual drawing? So you draw a rough sketch, something like what you see on the drawing. So you need to draw a parallelogram that has twice the area of this triangle. So it looks something like, I don't know, maybe you must first of all know what is a parallelogram, something like that, something like that, a rough sketch using your free hand, okay, free hand. Okay, so before you do the actual drawing, you need to have a rough sketch and then you do the real thing on the drawing. Okay, but you will need to find what's the area of the triangle. So there are 4 units. Use the squares to find the area of the triangle. The triangle is made of how many squares? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 units. So half times 4 times 5, 10, right? 10 squares. So this triangle is made of 10 squares. So you need to draw a parallelogram that is twice, which is 10 times 2, 20. Okay, so your parallelogram must have 20 squares. Okay, then how do you draw the parallelogram? And this is not easy, okay, not easy. Okay, now you can, first of all, you must know what is a parallelogram. You must do lines that are parallel, okay? And then you can do some guess and check, okay? You can do some guess and check in your drawing, something like that. And then how do you know how many squares make up this parallelogram? How do you know? How do you know? Okay, now, can you see, I'm going to draw this parallelogram, okay? There's a red color here. So this parallelogram is made of how many squares? Okay, look carefully. I'm going to form a rectangle or a square. Can you see a square? The square is made of how many squares? I mean, can you see the blue color square? It's made of how many squares? There are 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. 25 squares, right? Okay, the big entire figure is 25 squares. Okay, now I want you to see this triangle is made of how many squares? How many squares do you think is this triangle made of? All right, if you are not sure, look carefully. I can form a rectangle, okay, a rectangle. And this black rectangle is how many squares? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 divided by 2. How many squares make up this triangle? 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. Okay, 7.5 squares. And what do you think? What do you think this other triangle? This other triangle will be how many squares as well? Same, will also be 7.5. Okay, so these two triangles will be made of 7.5 squares each. Okay, then the parallelogram that you see in the middle will be how many squares? The parallelogram in the middle will be how many squares? You take 25 squares, which is the entire figure, right? You minus 7.5, and you also minus 7.5. You will get how many? You will get 10. Oh, that's the same area, right? Same area. 10. You need 20, right? You need 20. So what do? We have to draw a bit longer already. Okay, so it's the same area, 10 and then 10. So what do? We have to draw the parallelogram a bit bigger. Okay, because you need what? You need to draw a parallelogram that is what? That is twice the area of the triangle. Okay, so this parallelogram is the same area as what? As the triangle. So what do? We will have to fatten the parallelogram. Okay, let me just erase this part. Okay, now I'm going to erase all these. Okay, but at least you know how to count the squares to find the area. Okay, this is one way to count the squares to find how many squares make up the parallelogram. Okay, let me just erase this whole thing because we need to fatten the parallelogram. Okay, let's fatten the parallelogram. So that is twice the area. Okay, let's fatten it. How about something like that? I don't know. All right, so you have to do some guess. All right, guess in your drawing. Okay, I don't know, maybe something like that. All right.
More squares.
More squares. Oh yeah, more squares, right? Maybe there are more squares. Okay. Then maybe more squares, right? Is it more squares? Okay, maybe more squares. Let me see. Okay. Then how many? Okay. Then how many squares make up this parallelogram? Would it be 20? Which I don't think so, right? Okay, let's double check. Okay, let's double check to see whether because we need 20 squares. We need 20 squares to make up this parallelogram, right? Okay, so do we have 20 squares? Okay, we may need to make it bigger some more. Okay, bigger some more. Okay, let me just fatten it. Let me just fatten a bit. Okay, hang on for a while. Let me just fatten this parallelogram a bit bigger, because you need to have 20 squares to make up this parallelogram. So let's make it a bit, I don't know. Okay, so this is a bit of guess and check. Okay, a bit of guess and check. Okay, now let's try and see whether, do we get 20 squares to make up this parallelogram. Okay, let's try. I don't know. Let's try. Okay, now let's see. Okay, now if you look carefully, how many squares make up this entire thing? How many squares? Right? If you look carefully, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. That will be 35, right? Okay, 35. Okay, so you have to do some guess and check. Mr. is doing some guess and check. I don't have the exact drawing. So what we have to do is you have to do some, no, there's a try and error here. And then this is how many squares make up the triangle, which we don't want. How many squares make up this triangle? Well, you can actually take this triangle and combine them, right? Combine them, it will become a rectangle. Do you realize that? You can actually take the two black triangles and join them, become a what? Become a rectangle. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, finally, 15, 15. So the two black triangles is 15. The two black triangles make up of 15 squares. So the parallelogram must be made of how many squares? This parallelogram must be made of how many squares? It must be 35 minus 15, 20. So finally, you have drawn a parallelogram that is twice the area of a triangle. Okay, so that's how you draw this parallelogram. At first, when we draw, it was what? It was not twice. So you have to fatten it, right? Fatten it. But the lesson here is what? The lesson here is how to count the squares to find the area of the figure. You have to know how to count the squares to find the area. All right, so to find area, you have to make use of the squares. Is it clear? Are you clear now? Clear so far? Maybe you have a faster way, better way. Okay, it's fine. Okay, but this is another way to find the area. Okay, let's go to last question already. Oh, we are a few minutes over time. Okay, Linda's home, her school, and the market are located as shown in the square grid. So you need to put down your directions, north, south, west, east, and then your 8-point compass. So you have to show all this carefully. All right, and this will be northwest. All right, then read the first statement. The first question, in what direction is the market from Linda's house? So you have to start from Linda's house, which is over here, and you go to the markets. And what direction is that? Which is the west. So for your part A, your answer is west. And in the exam, write down the whole word. Okay, in the exam. Okay, part A. Okay, last one already. Okay, last one. Then we can all go rest. Okay, a new shopping center will be built at a location southeast from the school. So you start from the school, right? The school, and you go southeast, which is this way. So you draw a line all the way down. Okay, use your ruler and make sure you draw diagonally. Okay, diagonally. So the shopping center is somewhere along the arrow. Okay, somewhere along the arrow. And the shopping center is also northeast from the markets. So you start from the market and you go northeast. So your northeast is here. Okay, so from here you, okay, so the two lines meet will be where you are going to build the shopping center, which is thick. Okay, that is where you build the shopping center, where the two lines meet. Okay, we are done. Okay, we are done for this entire paper. So do you get full marks?
Yes.
Who is that? So excited. Okay. All right, now, Jong Hong, you have to start your video, okay? Because if you don't start your video, next lesson, Mr. is not going to let you come in already. Okay, everybody has to start video. Okay, so Jong Hong, please start your video next week. Okay, all right. So add your marks. All right, see whether you have gotten at least. See how many marks you get. You need to try to get at least what? At least 30. At least 33 lah, 33 if you want to come out of that white range. Okay, the white range, which is 45 to 64. So at least 33. If you get below 30, okay, what happened is you need to revise. Okay, revise, because paper 2 is going to be harder. All right, it's going to be harder, definitely. So you need to score well for paper 1. Okay, so add up your marks and then don't have to tell me, know yourself how many marks you have, and then always try to see whether you can do better than your previous scores. This paper, Ms. Long tell you, is not very hard. It's also not easy. It is standard. Okay, standard medium. All right. Okay, any questions for me? If there's any questions, you can stay behind, and then otherwise I'll see you the next week. All right, no questions? Okay, then next week we will have one last paper 1 session, and then we have a break before we resume. Okay, resume. Okay, so next week there'll be one more session. All right. Okay, so I'll see you next week. All right, goodbye. See you next week. Okay, and those who want to ask me questions, you can stay behind. Okay, bye, Li Wen. And Caleb, any questions to ask me?
Yes.
You always have questions to ask me. Okay, so what's your question?
I think I came a little bit late, so I need question 1 to 4.
Okay, question 1 to 4. Okay, question 1 to 4. Okay, let me see. Question 1 to 4. Okay. Okay. Question 1, answer is 2. Question 2, answer is 4. And then question 3, the answer is 1. Okay.
And
yeah.
question 4 is 2.
Yeah, hang on for a while. There's somebody, you can see a screen, right? Yeah, somebody, and now he came already.
Jordan.
No, it's not Jordan. Yeah. Okay, question 3, the answer is 1. And then question 4, the answer is 1.
1. Okay,
yeah.
I think I got it wrong.
Okay, so question, the first page, no mistake, right? The first page.
Yeah, I don't have.
Okay, now how you get it wrong? Okay, is it because you assume there's a straight line? There are only one straight line. Only one straight line.
Oh.
Do you think there were 2 straight lines?
Yeah.
So yeah, you cannot assume. There's only one straight line because the question says so. So this is not a straight line. All right, you can see this is not a straight line. All right, so we cannot assume. Okay, so what's the question mark? You're supposed to find your AOC. Okay, AOC. All right, how to do that? Now, if you look carefully, can you see what you see? Okay, you can see that this is 175, right? 175, and there's a 33. Then you can find this angle already, because the angles form a circle. Angle at a point. So angle at a point, 360, right? Then you minus 175 and minus 33, and you get the angle on top, right? The angle on top. So 360 minus 175 minus 33, you will get 152, and you put down 152, right? Okay, and then how do you find that question mark?
There's one is 0 minus 152.
Yeah, the straight line. Once there's a straight line, then angle on the straight line minus 152, and you get 28 degrees. Okay, how many marks do you get for this paper?
It's not very good.
Okay, is it because of careless mistakes or what?
Yeah, some careless mistakes. Yeah.
Okay, some careless mistakes. You have to.
Some of them I don't know how to do. So.
Okay, you have to cut down the careless mistake as much as you can. Okay, so any more questions?
I don't think there's any more.
Okay, so all right, so okay then okay, make sure you look through your mistakes, because the more you do, the better you must get. Okay, must get better, and the mistakes must be new mistakes and not old mistakes. Okay, all right, then I'll see you the next lesson. All right, so goodbye, see you.
Bye-bye.
All right, goodbye.